George Kilpatrick, inspiration for the nation, celebrating people we feel good about. And I'm ringing the bell. We'll tell you what that bell means in just a moment, but it's time for us to check your money. We're pleased to be joined by Vicki Brackens, president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corp., member SIPC. And it is time to check your money. And today, Vicki, first of all, hello, how are you?
Hi, George. Great to see you again.
Great to see you again. And of course, this bell means if you say something that I don't quite understand, it's called a jargon bell. And our goal is to make making money as easy as possible, or at least easy once you do all the things that you tell us that we got to do.
Okay.
All right. So what's going on, Vicki?
Well, as I said before, it's great to be here. I hope you are energized and ready to go because we have a lot to discuss today.
Let's go.
First thing, starting October 15th and running through December 7th, this is Medicare open enrollment period. For those of you who are 65 and older, you need to go to this next resource, which is mymedicarematters.org. I'm sure George will put a link to that onto his website to get a complete guide to open enrollment. This is the time for people who are currently on Medicare to reevaluate their coverages and make changes if they need to. Remember, this is not for anyone who is trying to enroll in Medicare for the first time, but for current enrollees. The website, by the way, is provided by the National Council on Aging. You can walk through all the questions and the things to consider if you need to change your current Medicare Advantage plan. Also, here in Syracuse, I would recommend that you call the Department of Aging, which is at 315-453-2362, extension 4993.
You meant 435. That's what you meant. 315-435.
435. You're correct. 435-2362, extension 4993. By the way, the department is headed up by Lisa Alford. Everybody knows Lisa, right?
Yes, yes.
And they can help you understand your Medicare options because that's the Department of Aging and Youth. Here's the second reminder. We are always talking about the things that matter and how those things are connected, right, George?
That's right.
Well, this week we have another example. If you remember back in week 5, we discussed why getting organized was so important. And we went through 9 key questions that you need to ask yourself about all of your assets. I'm going to run through them real quickly, but you can go back and listen to them online, okay, there at SoundCloud. What is it? Who has control over? Where is it? Why do I have it? What is it supposed to do? When can I get to it? Who owns it? And finally, what happens if something happens to me, and what's the plan? Well, right now, I know everyone knows this, we are in the time for what's called your benefits enrollment period.
Mm-hmm.
Breathe. Think about it. Probably last week or the week before, you received either in the mail or through email there at your job an enrollment packet. Most people don't either click the link or read what's happening with their benefits. But your benefits are a huge, we love that term around here, a huge value to you and important to building your net worth.
In fact, when you walked into the studio today, there are signs posted right here in this building on the studio doors about open enrollment.
Open enrollment. Okay, so while it's the time to do so, I'm going to give you another resource, which is the Guide to Open Enrollment, which is provided by the Society of Human Resources Management, or better known as SHRM, at www.shrm.org. It's written by human resources professionals, but it's very useful for everyone. So I want everyone, stop right now. Find that enrollment information that you just received. Check your beneficiaries. Make sure you have beneficiaries. Check your coverage. Enroll in the stuff you need. Make sure you have checked your FSA account, that you have spent everything that's required for this year. And don't ignore this particular task. Enroll in your 401k if you haven't. And if you have, increase your contributions for 2018 right now. Okay, George.
If you're not at max.
If you're not at max. Okay, if you're not at max. And when you go into the system, if you are at max, it will let you know that.
Okay.
But if you're at max, since you mentioned that, George, more than likely, because I see this quite often, people who are close to 50, tend to be at max, but they don't realize that there is a second max that's available to you called the catch-up provision. Read the information if you're eligible for the catch-up provision.
Okay.
All right, so we have some new work this week, George. Last week you had an assignment, and I know everybody did it. We said to go to the calculators provided on my website at brackensfsn.com and calculate your net worth. I know everyone did that.
Oh, yeah, everybody did.
Okay, all right then. And also to go to the calculators on calculators.org and determine your lifetime wealth ratio. So how are we going to use this information? What does it all mean? What's it all about, Alfie? Remember that song?
Yeah, okay. What's it all about?
Well, exactly.
Alfie.
We're going to call your son and have him help us out here, okay? So let's go to one of my favorite resources, which is the book that everybody is reading, which is The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley and William Danko, and see how those numbers that you calculated last week really stack up. How do they measure up? So here's a rule of thumb. We all need to know if we're on track, and we're going to find out in just a moment. Here's the rule of thumb. If you need to determine if you're on track concerning your net worth and where you are in your stage of life right now, write down this formula. Multiply your age by your annual gross income. You're going to come up with a number. That's going to be a really big number, so don't panic because we're not finished yet. Now divide that number by 10, and you will come up with a second number. That number represents where you should be today in your current net worth measurement. This is a relative number, so you need to compare it against the net worth figure that you calculated last week, and that will tell you if you are on track. Right? So, am I on track to do what? To accomplish the things that I want to accomplish in life? Am I setting myself up basically for financial success? So let's do that again. Let's say you're age 45 and your current annual income is $45,000. You'd multiply 45 times 45,000. That ending number should be $2,025,000. Now divide that number by 10 and you come up with $202,500. That is your expected net worth today if you are on track to accomplish the things, your retirement, and the things that you want to accomplish in life. So compare that to what that number was last week when you did your homework and see what work needs to be done. Is that number above or below? No judgment here. Right now, we just need to peg a number. I want you to take your report that you did last week as far as your net worth, add to the bottom of that page this number as far as my expected net worth, and next week we'll start looking at how to bring those more in line. So, George, I think right now it's probably a good time for me to say your plate is full. Have a great week and look forward to seeing you all next week.
Thank you, Vicki. Boy, we got some work to do. We are serious about helping you to increase your net worth every year. By the way, Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corp., member SIPC, and she's a great supporter of Inspiration for the Nation. Thank you, Vicki.
Thanks, George.